I have had a book talk for a very long time now, and I decided that I don't like TikTok, and so instead of having a book talk, I am going to have a YouTube channel. And I don't know how much I'm going to post. I'm probably going to record videos, like multiple books, and then I'm going to post them or schedule uploads so that they don't interfere with my life too much. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record several videos and then I'm going to upload them and just see how it goes, see how I feel. And if I enjoy it, I will continue it. And if not, I'm just whatever. I love horror. That is my main genre. And when I'm not reading horror, I'm either reading fantasy, true crime. I'm not a huge fan of nonfiction, although true crime is the exception. I also love anything that's kind of like folk horror, cult related. I love mermaids, I love fairies. I have some very hot takes about some popular books. But if you're interested in any of those genres, I might be someone that you'd like to listen to. Anyway, I want to start off my first video with one of my absolute favorite books. It's called The Hollow Places. T. Kingfisher is an incredible author. She is so well written. And this book just particularly stood out to me as like a very interesting story. It follows a newly separated woman whose partner was not a very nice person, but she's kind of happy to be single while also really annoyed at herself for getting with him in the first place. But it's kind of an ongoing thing that she's talking about her relationship with him and how he wouldn't have appreciated something. But she moves out of the house that they were sharing and she moves in with her uncle, who owns a museum that is described on the first page. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them my Uncle Earl owns a museum. They start to come around when I explain it's a little tiny museum in a storefront in Hog Chapel, North Carolina. Although there's so much stuff jumbled together that looks bigger than it is. Then I tell them the name and they stop believing me again. It makes for good icebreaker parties anyway. My uncle runs the Glory to God Museum of National Wonders, Curiosities, and Taxidermy. Most of it is complete junk, of course. There are things in the cases that undoubtedly have Made in China stamped on the underside. I threw out the shrunken heads when I was 15 and found identical ones for sale at the Halloween store. But the Wall of Thimbles of the world is real, or at least contains real thimbles. It continues, but that's just the first page, and it has kind of a dry, dark humor, which I like. It, again, has a really wonderful, strong but realistic main woman as the main character. And I just really feel like it's cozy. So I've read this book 3 or 4 times at this point, spread out, year by year. And I always kind of forget the ending. Like, it has such a twist of an ending that I always think it ends at a specific place, and then when it doesn't end and it keeps going, it's just like exciting that there's more to enjoy. So I don't know, I feel like there's something for everyone in it. Her best friend is an incredibly relatable barista. Like, I feel like most of us have a friend like that who can kind of come on any adventure with us and like will do really stupid stuff with you and without really caring about consequences, but who's also super dependable. Okay, the summary is: newly divorced and living back at home in rural North Carolina, Kara's helping her ailing, eccentric Uncle Earl at his house, which doubles as a tourist hotspot, the Glory to God Museum of Natural Wonders, Curiosities, and Taxidermy. While Kara is closing up one night, she discovers a mysterious hole in the drywall along one of the museum's overstuffed hallways of oddities, an opening that impossibly leads Kara and her new friend Simon to a sprawling area that cannot simply be part of North Carolina's plane of existence. As they explore the apparently limitless depths of this bizarre and frightening new world, a hub containing portals to alternate realities, and bear witness to its cryptic warnings, they can hear you thinking and pray they are hungry, Kara and Simon soon realize there is far more danger here than first anticipated, for they have stumbled upon a place of unyielding madness and terror, haunted by abysmal creatures that gather strength from one's innate fear of them. I will say, this book changed my opinion of willows forever. I mean, there's one on the cover, but I never thought I'd be afraid of a tree, but I think if I saw one in real life now, I might look at it again just to make sure it wasn't doing anything weird. I also just feel as though it's like a world you don't want to live in, but it's a world you kind of like. It's not that you want it to exist, but it's the kind of thing that like it would make real life a little bit more exciting, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, it's a fantasy, but it's on the verge of believability. Not that there are portals to other dimensions hidden in walls here, but it's just kind of like, I'm working a boring job, helping out one of my family members. I'm really tired. I just went through a really emotional situation. And now there's this thing happening, and it's like another thing that I have to deal with. But it's kind of cool that I have this personal portal to another dimension. So, I don't know. It's not quite that you want it to exist, but it's also like, maybe it would break up the monotony. Like, do I want to be, you know, in a world with creepy, godlike beings that just want to play with humans and make their lives miserable? No. But at the same time, like, maybe I'd go through the portal just to see what was up, just to see if there was something interesting there for me. Anyway, The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher is something I would very, very, very much recommend reading. Definitely horror, definitely sci-fi, certainly creepy. I don't know. If you're interested in any of those things, I would definitely recommend reading it. I'm trying to think of something that it reminds me of, but there's not a lot of media that really reminds me of this. I'd say it's closer to like a really dark and twisted Studio Ghibli movie. Like, it reminds me a lot of Howl's Moving Castle, like the portals to other worlds, especially like the grassy one, the field with all the water and the hills, like that kind of thing. But it's like that, but if it was super twisted and dark. Mirror Mask, maybe, is another movie that might remind me of it. But there's not a lot that's like actually super similar to this. I think there's also a Black Mirror episode that's similar-ish, about a museum kind of in the middle of nowhere that's kind of odd. But those are the only things I can really think of. If you like any of those things, you'll probably really enjoy this as well.